Okay, students at home or virtual learners, I'm making you today's lesson, and we're in 6th period. Hello, 6th period. They're just sitting there, y'all. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to create a bubble map for the 1890s America. So on a bubble map, you always put it in the middle, the title, 1890s America. And you keep room at the bottom of your paper for a summary. Okay, so here we go.
With my honey, and I ring the bell, and this is what I'll say to baby mine. Hello, my baby, hello, my honey, hello, my ragtime gal. Send me a kiss by wire. You hear me, baby? My heart's on fire.
Motion
If you
picture.
refuse me, honey, you lose me, then you'll laugh alone. Oh, baby, telephone and tell me I'm in love.
%, live where? Cities, and cities we call that what? Urban. There's going to be a big movement. Immigration, people coming from Europe, moving into the cities, and people moving from the countryside to the cities, and that's called urbanization. From the countryside, rural, to the cities, urban. And that's a high percentage for those years. It was far fewer before because most people worked and lived on a farm. So it's changing. It's the industrial period. Poor immigrant women worked where? Sweatshops. What are sweatshops? What is this? I spelled that wrong. What is a sweatshop? What are women making in sweatshops? Yeah, they're using sewing machines. It's a very hot environment, and they're making garments, right? Okay, and we're going to learn a tragic story. We're going to learn about a tragedy that happens because women were mistreated in these sweatshops. The door was locked. You're not leaving until you make this many of them. Yeah. Guess what's going to happen? There's going to be a what? And they're going to have to jump for their lives. Fire. We're going to learn that one later. Okay, silent movies are. I'll go put silent here. Are going to be made. Okay, but the motion picture industry really doesn't start until 1905, and so you have silent movie stars. So how do you know what's going on in the movies? They put what? They put subtitles, which are what? Words at the bottom that you read as you watch the movie. And they have live music, pianos and orchestras to put the dramatic music in. People lived in what kind of apartments? What were they called? Tenement buildings. So tenement apartments, tenements is what they would say. Okay? Dangerous, crowded living. We'll learn. This is like a commercial about what we're about to learn in the 1890s. So this video is just to give you an idea about what we're going to learn during this unit of industrialization. Here we go. Automobiles are new, but who can afford them? Only the rich people could afford them. Who's gonna? Let's see some pre-knowledge. Who knows who brings down the price of automobiles and how he does it for the average person? Who is it? Henry Ford, and he uses it by using the. He didn't invent the car. A lot of people think that. He created the system of making them to bring down the price. What is it? The assembly line. Okay, we're going to learn about that later. Okay, but in the 1890s, he's not going to do that until 1913. So right now, it's only for the what? The rich. Check out this car. This is the last decade that's going to be called the Victorian period. Named after who? Queen Victoria. So the years that she's alive. Now, the women dressed that way because she was in mourning. Her husband, they were really in love. And they had lots of kids, and he died young. And she, for the rest of her life, she dressed up in black, long clothing. And the Europeans and the Americans made it a fashion statement. That they wore it. That's why they dressed like that. And Victorian was very conservative. And you had lots of rules and how you're supposed to act and how you're supposed to eat. What was invented? Radio invented, but it's not going to be common in households until when? The 1920s. So we'll learn about that in the 20s. But it's been invented in 1895. So there was two Indian-related war conflicts. What are the two? One of them's here. Which two you have to remember? What happened? This is Wounded Knee. What happened before Wounded Knee? Okay, Wounded Knee. It's up on the wall. Word wall. Look. What is? Little Bighorn, okay? So the last major Indian battle of the Indian Wars happens in 1890. It's over. All the years of conflict, the 1890s is the last of it when it comes to war. Let me put this on here. Say her name. It's the Queen of where? Hawaii. Who can say her name? We're going to learn how American businessmen overthrew the Queen and took over. Can you say her name? You did it! Yes, you did it. Liliuokalani. Very good. In fact, you say it better than me. Way to go. Okay, so I'm just going to put Hawaii. We're going to learn about Hawaii and the overthrow of Queen Liliuokalani. 1893. Okay, here we go. We're going to remember the Maine. The Maine must be a name of a what? What is that? It's a ship. So we're going to learn about the USS Maine. Explosion. And that's going to lead us into a war. Does anybody know what war? We're about to find out. We're going to learn about this war. It happens in 1898. That's the name of the war. What is it? Put it down. Now this one here, make it a bubble that you're going to put bubbles on, because sometimes you can attach bubbles to bubbles that are related to it, okay? Which of course the USS Maine's related to it too, so we're going to draw a line to it. So Spanish, American War, we're going to learn about. This one is extremely important. Do not get it mixed up with what other war that might sound kind of like it from 8th grade. Mexican American War. Don't get it mixed up with that one, okay? All right, so the Spanish-American War, 1898. We're going to write down a few things off of this bubble, so be ready.
Colonel Wheeler's compliments. He says to kick him in the teeth, sir. Outstanding, Lieutenant Pershing. You will be my right to assault the heights.
What did he say, Lieutenant? What? Pershing. He's going to be the top dog military brass of World War I. And right this time he's a young man in the Spanish-American War, so that comes later. Who's this guy on the ground? He's a future president. Theodore Roosevelt. Dang, who said that? Way to go. Teddy Roosevelt. He's a young man and he's in the Spanish-American War. Excellent. Let's keep going.
Sir! I'll be your orderly, sir.
Light it, Sergeant Marchand. You'll stand by my side.
Yes, sir.
Stand by the colors! Music! Down the advance!
Churchills! You have heard the Colonel! We are going to advance in rushes! Watford! You are acting sergeant! You take first section, take Indian Bob with you! Yes, sir! Indian Bob!
He just said the word Buffalo Soldier. Who's a Buffalo Soldier? We're going to put that off of Spanish-American War. What is a Buffalo Soldier? And they didn't, for many, many years, did not get the credit that they deserve. Buffalo Soldiers, y'all know? Not Native American, but you're on the right track. Native Americans gave this group that name. They're African American soldiers, okay? And we're going to learn how they played a crucial role that allowed for Teddy Roosevelt to have an easier victory on San Juan Hill, because they were there first and weakened the Spanish before he got there. We're going to learn about them, okay? So here we go.
What they pay you! $14 a month more!
Yes! You are acting corporal. You take Eli.
Now we gonna let them beat us up that hill!
First and second section.
On your feet!
it's in Cuba, and the Cubans are fighting with us, and they're going to end up independent because of this war, okay? But we're going to gain some colonies. So, Battle of San Juan Hill we're going to learn about. And that's when that's when Teddy Roosevelt becomes famous, and it helps him become what? President. This is all a long commercial about what we're about to learn. Sometimes it helps to hear it in a little commercial first. This is an advertisement about the war still. Under President McKinley, America became a what? A world power for the first time. Because when we won the war against Spain, we ended up with territories. We don't want to call them colonies. That doesn't sound good, does it? So we call them territories instead. Puerto Ricans and Guamanians are Americans, y'all. When you hear like Puerto Rico hit by the storm, people say, "Oh, we need to take care of our own people." They are our own people. They are Americans. Okay? They go back and forth just like we go to Louisiana. Guamanians are American, just like you and me. They can go back and forth just like they are American in Louisiana. Okay? A lot of people don't realize that. I wouldn't be surprised if during your lifetime that Puerto Rico becomes the 51st state. If that's what they want, they have to vote for it. Maybe they don't want to be. Who knows? Okay? So the Spanish-American War, America became a what? A world power. We're on the world stage now. We're going to learn how that plays out. We're going to be a world power. And what's our territories? Puerto Rico, the Philippines, and Guam. And what happens to Cuba? They do that separate because they're not a territory of ours. They became independent. We're going to learn how all that played out. The Spanish-American War is very important. Okay? So here we go. You don't have to write all this down, but women they've been fighting for their rights to vote for many, many years. All the way back to Seneca Falls, New York in your 8th grade lessons. But now it's the industrial period, and they're getting very organized. So you can just put women suffrage. We're going to talk about this more because they're going to finally get it. By what year? 1920, the 19th Amendment. But this is where we're going to start talking about it in this class. Okay, women's suffrage, the right to vote. Okay, here's some fashion. Gibson girls, what they were called.
See
is 1890s. Now, what we're going to do at the bottom on this, I didn't leave enough room for those at home. You should have more room than me. Then we're going to write a quick summary. What did you just see in the commercial for the 1890s you're most interested in learning about when we get to it? But which one and why? Okay, those at home, please do that too. Thank you.